How many times have you ignored red flags, given up on your dreams, or tried to change someone, believing it would make the relationship work? You're not alone. Many women have been through this, but those who truly know and value themselves take a different approach. Today, I'm going to show you the 7 things a strong woman never does for a man, and number 5 might just be the key to never settling for less than you deserve. Number 1, they never tolerate. Disrespect? Respect is the bare minimum for any relationship to work, and a woman who values herself never accepts anything less. If a man speaks to her carelessly, disregards her feelings, or treats her as if she doesn't matter, she doesn't turn a blind eye. On the contrary, she recognizes the signs early on and makes it clear that she won't tolerate that kind of behavior. Because, let's be honest, without respect, everything falls apart. Many women have tried to justify this type of behavior, thinking he'll change or he doesn't even realize what he's doing. But the truth is simple. When a man truly cares, he makes a point to treat the woman by his side with kindness and consideration. A strong woman doesn't fall for pretty words or empty promises. If he doesn't respect her, she knows she can and should walk away. This doesn't mean she's rude or inflexible, but rather that she knows her worth. If someone tries to downplay her achievements, silence her voice, or disregard her feelings, she doesn't waste time arguing. She simply distances herself without guilt, because at the end of the day, it's not about pride. It's about emotional self-protection. After all, the way a man treats a woman says a lot about how he truly feels about her. And here's an important detail. A relationship can survive without an intense passion burning at all times, but without respect? Never. If he's already crossing boundaries in the beginning, imagine what could happen later. But do you know what's even worse than a lack of respect? Feeling like just an option in someone's life? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. Number 2, they never accept being a second choice. A woman who loves herself knows she deserves to be a priority, not just a backup plan for when it's convenient. If a man disappears for days, replies only when he feels like it, or never includes her in important moments, she doesn't ignore the signs. She knows she shouldn't have to chase attention or fight for space in someone's life when they clearly aren't willing to offer it. Many women have experienced the feeling of constantly waiting for something that never happens. But the truth is, when someone truly cares, they show it. A confident woman doesn't settle for crumbs of attention or weak excuses. She wants a real relationship, with mutual effort, not uncertainty that keeps her up at night. This means that when she realizes she's the only one fighting for the relationship, she doesn't force it. She doesn't waste time trying to convince a man to choose her, because being with someone should feel natural, not like a battle to prove your worth. She has the courage to walk away when she sees she's not being treated the way she deserves. Now tell me, have you ever been in this situation? Have you ever felt like just an option in someone's life? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And speaking of relationships, many women, without even realizing it, end up putting their dreams on hold when they're in love. But is that really worth it? Let's talk about that now. Number 3, they never abandon their dreams. For a man, a woman who values herself knows that her life is much bigger than any relationship. She can love with all her heart, but never to the point of silencing her own desires and ambitions. If she has a career goal, a personal project, or something that truly excites her, she doesn't throw it away just to fit into someone else's life. Because real love encourages growth. It doesn't demand sacrifices. Many women have passed up incredible opportunities out of fear of losing a relationship. They've turned down promotions, postponed their studies, or distanced themselves from things they loved just to fit into a partner's plans. But what happens if the relationship ends? The pain of realizing how much they've given up can be overwhelming. That's why a strong woman builds her own happiness without depending on anyone else. She wants a partner who celebrates her achievements, who motivates her to grow, not someone who forces her to choose between love and her dreams. A healthy relationship should be a space for mutual support, not a prison where only one person gets to evolve. And there's one crucial thing that makes this possible: staying true to herself. It's not enough to just keep your dreams alive if, deep down, you're trying to fit into a role that isn't really yours. And that's a mistake a strong woman never makes. Number 4, they never pretend to be someone. They're not a confident woman doesn't feel the need to change to please a man. She doesn't hide her personality, abandon her opinions, or pretend to like things she doesn't, just to seem perfect in his eyes. If she's talkative, she stays that way. If she has strong values, she doesn't compromise them. Because a real relationship needs authenticity, not a performance. Many women, afraid of not being accepted, end up adjusting who they are. They pretend to like certain music, change the way they dress, or even hold back their opinions. At first, it may seem like a small thing, but over time, keeping up this edited version of themselves becomes exhausting. And worse, the man might be in love with someone who doesn't even exist. Being authentic means having the courage to show up as you truly are, without fear of judgment. This doesn't mean there's no room for adjustments and compromises, but rather that real love only happens when both people accept each other fully. And if a man doesn't like your most genuine self, maybe he's just not the right one for you. And speaking of acceptance, a strong woman never ignores how a man shows or fails to show his feelings. Because pretty words are easy, but actions say everything. And when those actions don't show up, well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Number 5, they never tolerate emotional indifference. A woman who values herself knows the difference between a busy man and a man who simply doesn't care. She understands that it's not always possible to be present all the time, but she also recognizes when a lack of attention turns into neglect. If he never shows affection, doesn't care about her feelings, or is always distant, she doesn't ignore these signs. Many women have tried to justify this kind of behavior, thinking he just doesn't know how to express his feelings, or he just needs more time. But the truth is clear. When someone truly cares, they show it. A woman who loves herself doesn't beg for affection or wait forever for a gesture that never comes. For her, emotional connection is essential. Small actions, like remembering something important, sending a sincere message, or simply asking how her day went, make all the difference. If a man doesn't make an effort to maintain this closeness, she doesn't push it. Because a relationship without emotional exchange is just an empty space disguised as companionship. And when she realizes this, she makes a decision and moves on without looking back. But do you know what can be even more dangerous? When a woman starts to fade within the relationship, losing herself just to try to keep a man around. That's something a strong woman would never do. Number 6, they never lose themselves to make a man. Happy, a confident woman enters a relationship to share her life, not to give up on herself. She understands that loving someone doesn't mean abandoning her identity. Her friendships, hobbies, and everything that brings her joy remain a part of her life, regardless of her relationship status. To her, a healthy relationship adds to her life. It doesn't consume it. Many women, without realizing it, begin to revolve around their partner. They stop going out with friends, distance themselves from family, and let go of things they once loved. At first, it may seem like a simple act of dedication, but over time, an emptiness starts to grow. And if the relationship ends, they realize they've lost more than just a boyfriend. They've lost themselves. That's why a strong woman protects her happiness. She knows that a partner can bring incredible moments, but they should never be her only source of fulfillment. If he feels threatened by her independence, the problem isn't her, it's his insecurity. Because a man who truly loves her wants to see her thriving, not trapped. And there's one thing she understands very well. No one can change a man who doesn't want to change. And if he doesn't align with what she's looking for, she won't. Try to mold him, she'll simply walk away. Number 7, they never try to change a man. A strong woman doesn't enter a relationship expecting her partner to become someone else. She knows that people only change when they truly want to, not because someone is pressuring them to. If he has behaviors that go against her values, avoids commitment, or simply lacks maturity, she understands that trying to change him is a waste of time. Many women have believed that, with patience and love, they could fix a man. They've tried to teach him to be more affectionate, more responsible, or more present. But in the end, they realized they were working to build an idealized version of him, instead of seeing him for who he really is. A healthy relationship starts with acceptance, not with the illusion that someone will change for you. This doesn't mean she expects a perfect partner. Everyone has flaws, and growing together is part of a relationship. But there's a difference between evolving side by side and trying to reshape someone against their will. If a man isn't willing to offer what she's looking for, she doesn't beg, she doesn't push, and most importantly, she doesn't fool herself. At the end of the day, a strong woman chooses someone who is already ready to walk alongside her without needing to be transformed, because she understands that true love shouldn't feel like a test of patience or a constant sacrifice. Now tell me, out of these 7 things, which one do you think is the most important? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. There's another video on the screen waiting for you. Click on it now, and I'll see you there in a few seconds.